Welcome back to the news at 10. An air of uncertainty prevails at the In Apapa Expressway with the current free flow of vehicular traffic being experienced there. A Channels Television visited the area today to confirm if the tanker drivers have indeed complied with the Lagos State government's ultimatum to vacate the expressway. Though the gridlock in Apapa may be absent at the moment, the question remains, will the influential tanker drivers return?
Quite an unusual Sunday afternoon in Apapa, with no traffic gridlock for a route that has brought untold hardship to both motorists and commuters. At first glance, one might assume that the tanker drivers have complied with the Lagos State government's ultimatum for the tankers to be moved to their designated parks. But for motorists who regularly ply the route and who understand the antics of the influential tanker drivers who time and again have defied government, they say it's too early to presume that they will not return to cause the gridlock again.
Whatever magic they did that took the tankers out, we hope and pray that it remains, but there is no guarantee that it will.
I don't know why, but they are always there. Because if you go out in the morning at times, you might not meet them. But before you come back from work in the evening, they are always there. And especially if you go out and come back anytime from 6, you make sure that you are guaranteed of traffic.
Another motorist who identified himself as an insurance broker laments that the traffic jam that has befallen Apapa in recent times has crippled business activities. He also pointed out that the gridlock is as a result of poor planning.
Well, I was really amazed to see that the whole place is cleared up, being Sunday, and I guess a lot of people have gone to their various churches and places of worship. I can't really say much now. I will just wait till tomorrow, be Monday, to see. But I've been working on Apapa for the past 18 years, and I've never seen this kind of gridlock before that happened throughout last week. It was really horrible. It affected businesses and free flow of traffic. It was an eyesore. We don't expect to see it again during the week. Tomorrow is Monday, so let us just put our hands to see how this will be.
Some motorists find it difficult to understand why the tanker drivers are unwilling to use their designated parks. Others feel it's just a show of indiscipline on the part of the drivers.
Orderliness is what we need. I believe if they are orderly, the traffic will reduce.
This current free flow of traffic may provide some relief from the recent hardship faced by motorists in recent times. But in the days to come, will the tanker drivers still abide by the Lagos State government's directive of not parking along the Apapa Expressway?
As law-abiding organizations, we call on all our members, the owners and the drivers, to comply with the vacation order while the two organizations are working with government and other key stakeholders.
Whether the tanker drivers would comply or not, the next few days would be a waiting moment to see who gives in between the Lagos State government and the tanker drivers.
To give more insight into the difficulty people have been experiencing in the area and indeed the Lagos State government, I'm now being joined on the news at 10 by the Commissioner for Transportation, Mr. Kayode Opeifa. You're welcome to the news at 10.
Good evening.
That Oshodi Expressway is almost unrecognizable right now because of how free it looks. I don't know if it's because it's a Sunday, but it really does look free. And this has been an ongoing battle between the Lagos State government and the tanker drivers. Why is that?
Now, let me start by saying there are three main issues that causes this gridlock, or that are more like the causative factor. You have the road condition, you have the port authorities, you have the tank farms. The fourth one is indiscipline on the part of road users. Now, the latest problem we had has to do with the unavailability of fuel in the entire country. And that was compounded by statements or mismanagements from the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Petroleum Resources. The coordinating minister made statement to the fact that the major marketers, the independent marketers had been paid and that they will be lifting fuel. Fuel is available, 1.2 billion metric tons or something like that is about to arrive at the port. Then the next statement came from the Ministry of Petroleum Resources and NNPC that tanker drivers can now go to Lagos to lift fuel. So because the tanker driver owners are paid for fuel, they were given a ticket instead of a receipt for payment. They collected tickets that signifies that the fuel is available. That's what they've been doing. So you have over 6,000 tankers moving into Lagos. So when that moved into Lagos, what you see is that the capacity on that road cannot take, averagely is 1,000 tankers, maximum a day to take fuel from Lagos. And you now send 6,000. So those two wrongly directed statements, intentionally made, knowing that it can't be the exact correct situation, made a lot of the truckers all the way from Sokoto, Kano, Enugu to move on to Lagos. And when they got to Lagos, they were stuck. There was no fuel. The truth of the matter is that there was no fuel to lift from Lagos. So what we did was to meet with them continually. We have been meeting behind the scene to see how to manage. But because any high-handedness may lead to crisis, nationwide crisis, where you will see that the poor driver who had left Enugu to Lagos, believing he will lift fuel, and for 4 days he could not lift fuel, it will get aggravated and there could be crisis. So we went into dialogue, and that's why we were able to resolve it.
Mr. Apapa, in fact, long before this fuel scarcity that's ongoing, this has been a perennial problem in Lagos. I remember that the state governor had already, read the Riot Act, I think it was a couple of years ago, also to tanker drivers. Is there a particular permanent parking place for them so that they don't clog the roads?
I just mentioned the capacity for holding tankers in Lagos is adequate. If only it doesn't go beyond 1,000 loading tankers per day. When you have this crisis recurring, we are still importing fuel, refined petroleum. So as long as the refineries does not work, as long as NNP supply chain and logistics management is faulty, you will continue to have this problem. 2, the major one now is the ports. Our port system logistics has collapsed. The management of NPA does not know how to manage truckers anymore. All they do in NPA now is to manage revenue generation because the port had been concessioned. So what they're after is revenue generation. They are not concerned about the welfare of the truckers, how the trucks move, the logistics and supply chain management that is supposed to be the main important operational strategy for NPA is lost. And all this we have catalogued with the federal government. We met in 2011, November, December, and by January 2012, we came to some conclusions. So we are asking the federal government to implement that solution that we jointly agreed to. Now, for the truckers, there is an holding bay. There are so many holding bays in the ports. You know what has happened? They have all been concession to manufacturing, to some businesses. So inside the port, where the holding bay is supposed to be, there are no more holding bays inside the port. So NPA has to sit down, the management has to sit down, review the concession terms, and ensure that those managing the port authority create holding bays. It is their responsibility, not that of the state government to provide.
So clearly, Apapa area is a port area. It is meant to be a port area.
Yeah.
Then why do we now have residential houses in the area?
No. There are different parts of Apapa. Apapa is a commercial center with residential. That's the way you build. Apapa was well designed. You don't design areas in isolation anymore. Everything must be inside. So in Apapa, you have the residential section. That's the Apapa GRA. What you see is that the truckers, not the tankers now go into the residential areas to park. That's what. Then you have the highway. Highway is meant for me and you, is a shared asset. So they have their own port section that has an holding bay. But what we have seen is that the holding bay had been sold out to other businesses to take. Then you now have the tank farms. Because there is no fuel in Nigeria, we've mismanaged the fuel distribution system. We now import refined petroleum into Nigeria through Lagos. So truckers from all over the country, rather than moving fuel through the pipelines to the refineries and to Imosimi, to Ejibo Depot, for some reasons, they now move everything to Apapa. So when the trucks comes in there and there is scarcity, you have more trucks to lift fuel than the availability of, so they are stocked on the road.
And making life, really difficult.
But I must confess, at this point, the tanker drivers had moved out. But the truckers belonging to the doing business with the Nigerian Port Authority, they are still there. I just watched the news now. What I saw this afternoon, you cannot move from Mile 2 to Apapa now.
Because they're parked on the road.
Yeah, immediately
So at the end of the day, I mean, we're trying to find a permanent solution to this, because the fear now is that because of the order by the Lagos State government from your office, these tanker drivers have moved off the roads. But give it a couple of weeks, they might come back.
No, they might not come back. If what we
why would that be?
You see, what we discussed with them are some of the solutions we have, and they explained their position. They complained to us bitterly about NNPC, that there was no reason for NNPC to have gone on here to say there is fuel in Lagos. They have a ticketing system.
Okay.
But rather than NNPC to follow the ticketing system, NNPC announced that there is fuel in Lagos and gave out tickets to people to move to Lagos. Rather, what they should have given them is a receipt of payment and tell them when it is your turn, we will inform you. So, but now, a DAPman, the independent marketers, the depot owners, Moman, the major marketers, the Mobile, Owando and Co., and independent marketers, Ipman, they have now agreed to work with the truck owners to effect a better ticketing system. If that happens, we should not see the better. However, as long as we continue to import fuel, as long as we continue the crisis between NNPC and the importers, you cannot say that this kind of situation that arose from mismanagement of logistics and supply chain management by NNPC will not happen again.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Kayode Okoye.
But let me just inform that from Ijora down to Mile 2 is free. Okay. The whole of Apapa neighborhood is free. But between now and tomorrow morning, we will clear the remaining ones.
That means the coming days we can look forward to free flow of traffic.
Thank you.
More free flow of traffic. Thank you so much. Mr. Kayode Okoye is the Commissioner for Transportation here in Lagos. He talked to us about the tanker drivers being asked to move from the Oshodi Apapa Expressway. They have complied, and there will be more complicity in the coming weeks.